There is a point in your life you don't notice until you're standing in the middle of it. A point where everything around you feels familiar but wrong. A point where your routine continues, your habits continues, your relationships continues, but something underneath feels off. You keep blaming circumstances, blaming timing. You keep blaming the people around you, the environment, your upbringing, your past. Until one day, one quiet day, you sit in your own thoughts long enough to hear the sentence you've avoided for years. What if it's me? What if I'm the reason my life keeps repeating itself? Not because you're a bad person or you deserve the blame, but because something in your behavior, your patterns, your reactions keeps leading you to the same exact ending. This is the moment your ego hates, but your future loves. Most people think life just happens to them. But the truth is, you've been building your life brick by brick without knowing it. Every time you avoided a hard conversation, you built a wall. Every time you stayed silent to keep the peace, you built a pattern. Every time you chose comfort over honesty, you built a version of yourself that fit the moment, but not the person you wanted to become. Some of the things you complain about today were built by the choices you made years ago. You didn't mean to do it. You didn't do it consciously. You were choosing survival. You were choosing familiarity. You were choosing whatever required the least pain at the time. That slowly, without noticing, you became someone living inside their own consequences. And that realization feels heavy because it forces you to see the blueprint of your own life and realize your fingerprints are on everything. Self-sabotage doesn't always look like destroying your life. Sometimes it looks like doing nothing. Sometimes it looks like waiting for the right moment, the right feeling, the right clarity, the right sign. We tell ourselves we're being patient, but deep down, we're hiding. We hide behind overthinking, perfectionism. I'm not ready. I don't want to fail. It's not the right time. I need to understand everything first. We call it being careful, but really, it's fear dressed as logic. We convince ourselves the world isn't giving us opportunities. But the truth is simpler. We never created any. We never took any. We waited for life to make the first move. And life doesn't do that. So we stay in the same loop, year after year, thinking the problem is outside. But sometimes the real obstacle is simply the version of you that refuses to move. When something happens to you once, it's an event. When it happens twice, it's circumstance. When it keeps happening over and over, that's a pattern. If every relationship collapses the same way, there is a pattern. If every argument ends in the same silence, there is a pattern. If every dream stops at the halfway point, there is a pattern. And the problem with patterns is this: you will always meet yourself again, even if the people change, even if the environment changes, even if your goals change. You will meet the same fears, the same defenses, the same insecurities, and the same reactions, until you decide to break the loop. People think life is mysterious, but sometimes it is painfully predictable, because you bring the same version of yourself to every situation, and that version leads to the same outcome. Patterns feel like destiny, when really they're just unexamined behavior. It's easy to say, people don't understand me, and it's harder to admit, I don't communicate, I expect people to read my mind. We think the world should recognize our intentions, our softness, our effort, our exhaustion. But people only see actions, they only hear words, not the thoughts you meant to say, not the emotions you buried, not the pain you swallowed quietly. Sometimes you're not misunderstood. Sometimes you're unclear. Sometimes you're closed. You've built walls so high that even you can't see over them anymore. And the worst part, you believe your silence protects you, but it doesn't. Silence teaches people to guess wrong, and then you blame them for it. It's not your fault. You learned to survive by hiding. But hiding isn't the same as healing, and silence isn't the same as peace. Self-realization doesn't hit like a movie scene. There's no dramatic music, no emotional explosion. It appears quietly during an argument where you realize you're not listening, you're defending, or in a conversation where you realize your joke was actually a wound speaking. Or in a moment of loneliness, where you recognize you push people away before they have the chance to leave. Or when you notice you choose people who repeat the same lesson because the lesson is actually yours. These moments feel uncomfortable. They're supposed to. You're seeing yourself without the narrative you built, without excuses, without the stories you repeat to make sense of your pain. It's like catching your own reflection in a mirror you didn't know was there. You stop and think, this is me. This is what I do. This is how I hurt myself. This is how I hurt others. It's painful, but it's real. And reality is the only place change can start. Here's something people confuse all the time. Blame is about the past. Responsibility is about the future. You can acknowledge your role in your own patterns without punishing yourself for them. You can admit, I overreact, I shut down, I avoid, I pretend I don't care, I expect too much, I choose the wrong people, I leave too early. And none of these admissions mean you're flawed, they mean you're aware. And awareness doesn't destroy you, it frees you. Because once you see the mechanism behind your own behavior, you no longer act automatically. You no longer sleepwalk through your decisions. You no longer call your patterns fate. Most people spend their whole life trying to change everything around them. But the real shift happens when you realize the only thing you control is how you show up. Responsibility is not a burden, it's a key. It unlocks the door you didn't know you were standing behind. The moment you admit you're part of the problem is the moment you stop living on autopilot. You start noticing your tone, your defensiveness, your habits, your choices. You stop blaming people for reacting to a version of you. A version you didn't even realize you were being. You begin seeing the small places where you can shift, not dramatically, just quietly. And those small shifts, the ones nobody claps for, are the ones that change everything. Not because you became perfect or you healed completely, but because you stopped lying to yourself. There is a strange power in finally admitting I create some of my own chaos. Because the moment you admit it, you can also create your own clarity. And that is the real turning point. Not inspirational, just honest. You become the version of yourself that stops repeating the same story and begins writing a new one. Not for anyone else, just for you. Thank you for listening or watching this video. This was Mimi from A Cup of English. Have a good night.